Alright, so today I am doing some insect pinning and finishing up some mouse taxidermy that I did a couple weeks ago. So the last, I think, 2 weeks I've done leatherworking, which was pretty fun, but I wanted a little break from it, and I wanted to be able to finish up the mice that I did a few weeks ago, which maybe I'll try to focus them a little more. Maybe not. I might have to put this up a little bit. So, whoa, what is happening? Okay. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, usually I have you guys up on my tool chest looking down at the desk. And I decided to try this today. Since I am doing some insect pinning, it's obviously pretty small, and you're not really going to be able to see anything from up on, like, up above my desk. So I put the camera down here on my desk, and yeah, it's a lot closer, which is good, but I also have a pretty small, I guess, range of view, so I just have to make sure that I am, I don't know, I guess in focus and in frame for the whole thing. Yeah, I might try to, I don't know, I've been wanting to do this closer up for my leatherworking also, just so that you can see the tooling in action a little more than kind of having you just watch me do it from far away and then me showing close-ups when I kind of get done with the section. But yeah, the shotgun case that I'm working on is pretty large, and I have to kind of move it around a lot in order to, I don't know, get a good angle to work on it. So yeah, doing the far away is a little better. But with the insects, I figured I would do a little closer up today, and just see how that is. So I have my mice here. They've been drying for the past few weeks. I'm gonna try to move this up a teeny bit just because the mice are up on a foam block here. There they are. Okay. A little focused maybe, I don't know. There they are, little guys. Again, this is like a total manual focus camera, so I apologize if any of this is out of focus, but I'm doing my best. So what I have planned for these little babies today is to take all of their pins out, because they should be kind of fully dried by now, and take their pins out, kind of brush them out a little bit, fluff them up. I have my little makeup compact thing here to give some color back to their ears and nose and hands and feet and tails, their little cute pink extremities. So I'll do that, and then I have some insects that I've had rehydrating for the past overnight, and then like maybe through the afternoon yesterday. And so those should be ready and flexible and ready to pin. Yeah, I don't know if this will take me my full usual, like 3 hours that I'm usually streaming for, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I anticipate getting all of my insects pinned today. They usually don't take a ton of time, but it's also been a while since I've pinned any insects, so I might try to take my time with that. So I have my little mice here. I'm just going to try to take some of these little pins out of them. I already stabbed myself. Cool. I'm going to put these pins, yeah, I'll just put them back in the foam here. So I had pinned these guys. Oh, that thing's like really stuck in there in the clay. It's okay. I had pinned these guys just to kind of keep their stuff where I want them, their little ears up and their little toes kind of separated and stuff. And I just leave them like that until they dry. These guys are bigger, so I gave them a little extra time as compared to my small mice. I wanted to put them in this big glass dome, but I don't think I have any way to drill any holes in the wood right now, or I guess I should have done that before stream, but I can at least get these guys prepped to be displayed. I'm still unsure. I have the wires here on their hands, just so they can hold something, and I'm still not totally sure what I want to do with that, if I want them holding anything at all, or if I should just cut those. I was thinking about maybe having them hold like some little flowers or something. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think I got all the pins out of this one. Let's take her out. Ooh. Okay, here she is. Little cutie. I love her ears. Oh my goodness, look at her. Again, I'm not an expert at taxidermy by any means, so she's not perfect, but you know, here she is looking like a mouse, and that's all that matters. So I had planned on, I have a little wooden dome similar to, let's see if I can get this on camera, similar to this one. Oopsie, I knocked his little hat off. There we go. I have a bigger glass dome similar to this one, and this is my first mouse I ever taxidermied, and I'll take his hat off so you can see. We had drilled holes underneath so that the little wires through his feet can go through the base, and then he can stand here and just be super attached to his little platform. And I want to do the same with the two bigger mice, the lovers, if you will. So I need to drill some holes in the wooden base so that I can get these stabbed through. As you can see, I didn't poke the holes or the wires through the base of the feet like I did with the other one. I kind of just put them in the butt. I was having a hard time sewing some of these parts up and stuff, and I was just like, it's gonna be in the base, nobody's gonna see it. I'm sorry, I'm out of focus. It'll be fine. But yeah, so I'm gonna brush him out, or I guess her out a little bit. She still has a little bit of, you know, salt and borax and whatnot in her fur. We'll get her looking cute. Maybe I'll brush it opposite to fluff her up a little. Yeah, and to brush my taxidermy, I just use an old toothbrush. Nothing fancy. And she has a little bit of, I think, clay on her eye still, so I'm going to scratch that off. Yeah, the eyes that I use for my mice are just like sewing pins, because they have the little, kind of like the small pins here, but obviously on a much larger scale. And I just cut the base of the pin off and use the I guess head of the pin for the little eyes. The mouth isn't looking great, but they're gonna be kissing, so I don't know that'll be super obvious, luckily. Unfortunately for Mr. Man over here, when I was skinning him, well, when I was mounting him, I guess, he had a big patch of fur slip here. I'm not totally sure why that happened, but it did. And luckily it all came off in kind of a big chunk, so I was able to kind of just give him a toupee, if you will. These guys have been sitting in a little glass display cabinet for the last 2 weeks, or however long it's been since I've done this. And I took them out today, and I have no idea where his little toupee has gone. So, yeah, he's in a little display case, so I don't know, like, my cats didn't get to it or anything like that. I don't know how he lost his little toupee, but he did. And, you know, he might just have to be bald until I can find another solution for him, or maybe he's just a proud baldy, and that's all it is. My cat is scratching at the door aggressively, in case you guys can hear that, sorry. So I'll take the pins out of him. Oh my god. They get really stuck in the clay. And take him out of his toes. These are the same pins I'm going to be using later for all of my insects. So definitely have multiple uses. Of course somebody is like using what do you call it? Leaf blower right now. Wow, I was really struggling on that word. I gotta wait till I'm videoing to do yard work. It's okay. This last pin on his toes here. Okay. Ooh, take him out. Man, I used some long ones on him for some reason. Let me brush him out just a bit. He's still got some powder in his fur. Again, not my absolute best work, but I'm learning and making progress, so that's all that matters. Fluff him up a little bit. Make him look handsome. Yeah, he's kind of got a little bald spot here behind his ear, and then he's got the big one right here, and another one. It kind of went up a little bit. Yeah, if I separate out the fur, you can kind of see that it went up the back of his neck a bit, but when I brush his fur down, it kind of covers it, and it kind of goes around his ear, so he's hurting a bit, but it's okay. It is what it is. So I'm gonna take one of these little needles here and clean up his eyeballs, because he does have some clay and stuff in his eyes that are sticking out that I can clean up and make look pretty. I don't get when people use leaf blowers, why they can't just hold on to the trigger the whole time and they have to, you know, it just makes it more annoying. Anyway, he's kind of brushed out, he's fluffed up, looking, well, as cute as he can. He's alright. Let's see if I can, where can I put this that they're going to be in focus? Maybe there? I don't know. I have a feeling this whole video is going to be slightly out of focus, but I'll try my best to keep it in. Alright, so I just have, what is this, e.l.f. It's just a blush. And I just use a good pink color and a little paintbrush to, I might use a smaller one to get a little more detailed. Beep, 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 beep. Maybe knock off some excess and paint his little feet. I might not go as hard on him as I will on the white one, because I feel like his toes aren't quite as pink, because he's a darker mouse. So I might have to knock off some more excess before I start doing him up, but a little pink on the nose. And maybe a little, oh, that's a little bit much. I'll keep brushing it off. A little pink on the ears, just to give some, sorry, I'm like out of camera again. Give some life back. Okay, I'll set him to the side. Maybe I'll leave her there, just so that I know she's in frame. Maybe I will raise this up just a little more. Maybe that's better? Okay. Beep beep. Okay. Let me do her tail, because her tail is very sad looking. The blush that I got also, I unintentionally got one that's a little sparkly. But that's okay. She needs a little glam, you know? What mouse doesn't need a little sparkle in their life? And then maybe if I can get this focused, you can kind of see like exactly where I stopped fleshing out the tail. I was kind of having an issue with this when I was doing the video, where I had not fleshed out their tails before doing the video, and because my other mice were this size, they were very small, and they had very thin, tiny little tails that I was like, there's not much flesh in there. If anything, I think they're gonna be fine. I'm not really worried about it. And so left it, and then realized that these mice were considerably larger, and I was like, well, maybe I should flesh out their tails. And so I started to I did the gray mouse first, and I fleshed out his tail, and in the process I accidentally ripped his tail off of his body. Don't ask me how. And so I was a lot more careful with this one, and I didn't try to go as far, and I made it to about here. And then I just put some of the wire, the same like copper wire that I put through the hands and feet that I did in the tail. So I didn't really I don't know, I didn't really like flesh it out, and by that I mean like stuff it with anything to give it shape, so it's kind of flat. And then you can see like here it's a lot darker, and you can see the little vertebrae going down, but I don't think it's going to cause any like rotting issues. I don't think there's enough flesh to kind of do that. But anyway, let me do her ears. Let's see. I'm trying to do one ear and then see if you guys can notice a difference on camera. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to do it like somewhat subtly, but I think you can notice on camera a little bit. I'm gonna do her little toes, because her toes are pretty pale right now. Just kind of touch those up. I don't know if how much I'm gonna do on the small mouse. He didn't turn out great, but I was also just kind of running out of time and was more focused on doing the two big mice. But I will still do some... Oh my god, this pin is stuck. Jesus, okay. We'll still do some little touch-ups on him. Do the other ear. Get her looking cute. Maybe not block the camera with my hand. Do a little more on this one. There we go. She's getting a little life back. Do a little on the nose. Again, the mouth doesn't look great, but these two guys are going to be kissing, so hopefully you shouldn't be seen very much. Oop, that was a lot. I'm going to brush some of that off. I want her hands to look pink, but not like scary. Okay. She's looking like a little cutie now. And then, yeah, hopefully they will sit there and maybe prop up each other a little bit like this and kiss. Yeah, I definitely have to cut his little stems shorter. I don't know why I left them so insanely long, but that's okay. God, dude, get in there. Okay, brush him out just a little more again. And add a little more color to him, maybe. Especially to his tail, I guess, because his tail now is looking kind of pale that I skinned it out. A little pinkness. yeah, I guess I'm not sure what to do about the bald spot quite yet. I think I'm gonna try to keep looking for his little toupee that I somehow misplaced, and if I don't, I might either find a piece of felt or something that's maybe the same or similar color, or at least like, I don't know, paint over it gray or something, so it doesn't stand out quite so much. Or yeah, like I said, maybe I'll just leave him rocking the bald look. But I got this tiny, very tiny little guy that I didn't do awesome on, to be honest. But yeah, I was just kind of, I was focused more on these two guys, and he was particularly hard. This small one was particularly hard to work on just because of how small he is, and I was just getting a little frustrated working with him. Even compared to my very first like mouse taxidermy stream, he's even smaller than those ones I worked on. Like, I think he's the smallest mouse I've ever taxidermied, and it was just not super fun, if I'm gonna be completely honest. It was okay. It was fine. I got it done. But he's just gonna be my creepy little man. And that's okay. You know, not all of them are gonna be top tiers. Although I just realized that when I had him drying, I had him sitting on the edge of the block, so his tail dried straight down. Which, I mean, I guess I could move it a bit off to the side, but it also is kind of cute that he hangs off of a ledge. But I'm just gonna leave it for now. He's got his little pinkness, so he's looking cuter. I could probably brush him out just a little bit too, even though he's my little creepy man. Okay. There's my little mice. They always look a little better when they have some color on them, so gosh, I might just cut this down now because it's kind of bothering me. Oh my god, why are these like, there we go. Things were like rusted shut. Ugh. Okay, obviously I need to clean these pliers because they are not operating like they should. Cool, that's a little more reasonable of a length, so I will sit them here side by side so that you can see how cute they are. Wow, look at them. Anyway, that's kind of all I have to do for these guys at the moment, unless I'm forgetting something. Otherwise, I'm going to, I think, just move on to my insect pinning and see how that goes, because it's been quite a while since I've pinned any insects, to be honest. So I'm going to see if I remember how to do that. Move these guys off to the side here. I'll have them just watching me pin some stuff. So what I have today, as far as insects go, I've just been kind of accumulating some stuff for a while. All the stuff that's in here has died of natural causes. I have just found them outside or in my yard or something. I obviously didn't like kill any of these insects to be pinned. I don't even know how I would do that. So so when you find a dead insect, they're not too hard to pin depending on what you have. The one thing you have to do though is you have to rehydrate them. So insects, when they die, they usually curl up and do the dead leg, you know, they get all crusty and curl up in on themselves and they dry out. So usually when you try to move any of their legs or wings or anything, they just kind of snap off, because they're dry and they have no flexibility in their joints. So in order to be able to move their appendages again, and get them into a position that you want, you have to rehydrate their little joints. And to do that, I just get a paper towel damp and I put it in a little sealed container. This is just a tiny paint pan for a little paint roller that I just had, so I was like, well, that'll work. And I'm not like sacrificing a nice food Tupperware for it or anything. So I put these guys in here with the moist paper towel yesterday afternoon, maybe 24 hours ago, if that. So I have a couple different things today. Let's see, I have some tweezers. It'll be easier to... Tweezers are definitely a good thing to have when doing insect binning, because your fingers can get in the way, I guess. So maybe I'll lay them out on this so they're easy to see. Get some of these, again, I have all these pins here. Get these out of the way so I can lay out my guys. So I have a pretty beat up, I believe this is a monarch butterfly. Don't know how good this guy's gonna look because his wings are pretty damaged and everything, but we'll see what we can get out of this guy. I have another small, I don't know if it's a moth or a butterfly. I want to say butterfly. Very pretty. I just found him in my yard like a week ago and brought him in, and I think on the underside it's got some very nice like iridescent white spots. So I don't know, maybe I'll try to pin it with its wings up so you can see the nice shiny undersides. I have 3 different bumblebees. I have one. I have this guy, which I believe, yep, he has lost pretty much all of his legs. I have them in the container. They're just sitting in there. They're pretty easy to break, to be honest, when you're just kind of handling them. And I have, where's my last bumblebee? This one's a really big one. I'm not sure what kind of bee this is, but a very large man. He's big. So there's that. Oops, I laughed and I moved all my butterflies. And then I have finally a tiny little scorpion that I'll be pinning. Maybe I'll move the camera back down since I'm not working on the mice anymore, and these guys will be maybe a little bit more in focus. Maybe? Okay. I feel like I just heard cats fighting outside and I don't know if that was mine. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't hear anything else. I just heard a screech, so. Alright, I think I'm going to start with... I'll start with one of the bumblebees. I'll start with one with no legs, because it's been a while since I've done this, and if I guess mess him up, it won't be anything too crazy, because he already doesn't have any legs, so move the other guys out of the way, and let's look at him. So I have another set of tweezers here. Let me move him to the front here so maybe he's a little focus. Is that in focus for y'all? I think, I hope, anyway. Try my best here. Maybe if I can get more light, it'll be better, perhaps. Okay. So, hopefully this guy is flexible now. He is, because I can move his wings around without them snapping off, which is good. So I'm going to take a pin here. So with insect pinning, there is actually only one pin that goes usually through the actual body of the insect. Everything else is just pinned around what you want. Like you pin, it kind of similar to the the toes on the mouse. You know, you don't actually pin through every single toe to keep it where you want. You just kind of put pins, you know, on either side of where you want everything to keep everything in place. And you do the same with the insects, whether it's like keeping their wings in place or positioning their legs a certain way. That's, yeah, usually how you do that. So I'm going to try to get, usually use kind of thicker pins. These are very, very fine pins. Usually use a thicker one to put through the actual body of the insect, but I think this should be okay for now. I'm going to put it through his little section here. Maybe I might have to use a thicker pin actually. Nope. Okay. So now I have the insect, this bumblebee, on my pin. So he'll be a lot easier to work on, because when you don't have the pin on there, it's kind of hard to do anything. So now I can set him like that, and I can start moving his little stuff around, seeing where I want stuff. Okay, so he's missing quite a few things. He's got these two wings here, which I can try to pin forward. Usually with wings, you would put something underneath them. Like for the butterflies, I might dig out a channel in the actual foam and let the butterflies, like the body, sit in the channel so that the wings sit on top of the foam and are flat. Not sure how I'm gonna do this guy quite yet, but I'm just trying to see what he actually has and what he's missing. So I got two wings here. I'm gonna pin this one forward. Okay, so we got two wings there. He's got another small wing tucked back here. And he looks like he's missing it on the other side, which is okay. Here we go. Let me take a pin. Pin that right there. And let me maybe move this one right there. Okay. We're starting. Yeah, it looks like he's missing, I think he's missing all of his legs. He has like half of a leg back here, but the rest of them, I believe, are down in here. These are the rest of his little very fuzzy legs. They are really interesting to look at because they have little kind of hooks at the end of their legs, but whether or not I want to like glue these back on him, I don't know if that'll be worth it or not. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like what I want to do. I might try this guy next. Yeah, because I don't know there's a whole lot that I can do with him other than spread his wings out. I'm not sure if I even want to do that. Okay. There he is, wings spread. Let me... This guy I can do, I think, a lot easier because he's bigger and he has all of his legs and looks like all four of his wings, so... And she's still got her stinger. I don't know. This is probably all out of focus, but it is what it is. Let's see how I can get this more better. Is that better? I don't know. Whatever. Do another pin. Let's try to get this through, oops, the body. she is. Push it up a little further. And we got our bee. Right there. Let's see. What can I do here? Oh my god, the antennas. The antenna on this little guy, or girl, I guess. I don't really know. Are very cute and tiny, which I was not expecting. I think I might leave the legs curled under. I guess I don't really know how they fly around with their legs, like how their legs are positioned when they're flying around. Let's see if I can get the wings spread out. Okay. Sometimes I like to take some pins also and pin kind of either side of the body pretty close so that it doesn't move around while I'm trying to pull the wings out and things like that. I always get so nervous with the wings because they always seem so delicate. Okay. Got one. I think what I've done before too is taken like another form or something like this and put it up next to whatever insect I'm pinning, and then I can lay the wings out flat on this foam and kind of like make a form around it so that I still have this 3D bee that I can pin the legs and stuff wherever I want, but still have the wings be flat out, because when I'm pinning it right now, they want to go vertical instead of laying flat out. Maybe this direction will be better to show, but instead of laying them flat out like this and being horizontal, they still want to come up vertically. So I don't know, we'll see. About this one. Cool. And then we'll do another little pin. Right there. I've also taken like, usually for the butterflies I'll take maybe like a little piece of parchment paper or something and lay it across the wing and then pin the parchment paper down so that I'm not pinning through the actual wings, but the wings can lay flat, like wax paper or something. I'll do that. And I'm trying to figure out how to do these bumblebees in the same way. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, I guess, how to make the wings lay flat without pinning through them, essentially. But they are, ooh, geez, almost knocked down all my mice. They're obviously a lot more 3D and thicker than a butterfly, so it would be hard for me to kind of dig out a channel in this that would be big enough for the bumblebee and the wings to lay flat. And I also still have to figure out if I want to have the legs in any position other than curled under them, which, I mean, I think that's how they just fly anyway, so I don't know that I really need to change the legs very much, but I don't know, maybe I can have them like, I wonder if I can get that angle to show you guys, like can extend his leg out pretty far. And this also tells me that his little joints are nice and hydrated so that I can move him around well. Maybe I'll have his little legs trailing out behind him. That'd be kind of cute, I think. See if I can get this leg out from under him. These tweezers are like a lifesaver when I'm doing bug pinning. Where is your leg, sir? And or ma'am, I guess. I guess most of these bees are female, but I just default to male because all my pets are males. There we go. Look at them leggies. She ain't shaving for nobody. Cool, cool. Got another leg there. I think this one is under her somehow. That one's stretched out, and then this one's very curled up. Let me... Okay. I got it out. I might have to take out some of these pins that I did for the wings until I get the legs in place, and then I can figure out where I want the wings. Yeah, I think it'd be cute to have her little legs trailing out behind her, so I'll try to stretch this leg out and do a pin here, and I'll do another pin kind of on top, crossing it. Oops. It's been a minute since I've done this. Do it by the joint so that the pins have something to stick to. Okay, I got a leg. And I'll do this leg. Pin that there. And then I'll do, I got this front leg. So I got 3 legs hanging out. Yeah, you know, I don't know if I use too many pins or not enough pins or whatever. I just kind of use however many pins I feel like I need to get everything held in place, but I'm gonna pin this one back, or try to anyway. Cool, that one's good. This one's kind of tucked under her still, so I'm gonna try to get that one out. Okay, beautiful. Let's get this one. It's kind of nice because she's got little, like, barbs at the end of her feet, so when I get to the end of the leg, my tweezers kind of catch on that, and it helps me hold it better, which is very convenient, but... Okay, I put these pins in the wrong... They're in my way. These are just... I bought a little, like, vial of these pins on... I think it was on Etsy, I think. And they're just number 2 stainless steel specimen pins. And they come in little vials of 100, and they're pretty cheap. And there's just a ton of them in there, but yeah, I've used these for insect pinning and even for some of my taxidermy pinning, which, are they the right pins? Probably not for the taxidermy, but it works for what I need to work, so I guess it doesn't really matter if it's like the right ones or not. Okay, let's try to get that front one where I want it. That's not where I want it. Maybe if I switch hands. Okay. So we got, I'm sorry if my camera is not in focus. Again, it's a very manual focus camera. I don't know if I have too much light or not enough or what's happening, but oh, Christ, there we go. Here she is. I might move this leg a little bit. There we go. I kind of wish I had an auto-focusing camera right now, but again, we're working with what I got, so I'm just debating on what to do with the wings now. I would like them out, but I don't know necessarily how I'm going to do that. Getting them to lay flat, although I don't know, I guess I need to look up some pictures of bees and how their wings are, if they are constantly out flat or if they ever tilt upward, but let's see what I can do. So I'll stretch this wing out. I'll kind of put this pin right behind the wing joint there to keep it from moving back. And they have 4 wings, so I have to do that on the other one. Although, actually I kind of like where that one's at right now, so I might keep that there. And then one there. And I have they're wanting to be vertical, which I'm not super happy about, but I'm not sure how to remedy that. I wonder if this would be enough to, I think it might be. So I think I might cut little bits of this off and use it to kind of prop the wings up. Sorry for the unpleasant noises of cutting foam. Can't really get around it. So I can put this like a little block underneath the wings here, and then I can use, I don't know what, I need like wax paper or something to, so I can lay these flat instead of having them be vertical. Let's see what I can do. There we go, that's more what I want. I wonder if I could just take, I have my desk that I can use. Oh, here we go. Or actually no, I have a better idea. Haha. I have some tracing paper that I was just using for my leatherworking project, and luckily that's very conveniently at my desk and kind of exactly what I need. So yeah, the idea is that all of these pins on the insect are just going around it. There's only one pin actually going through the middle of the insect that is like keeping it upright and on the board. But everything else is just kind of supportive, I guess you could say. So I'm going to take a little strip of paper and I'm going to lay it so that the wing lays flat underneath there. so that the wing doesn't, so that it lays flat like this instead of, because when I put it forward right now, it wants to pop up vertically. And I think they mostly have their wings flat and not straight up and down. I'm actually going to push this guy maybe down a little bit, if I can. Oh no, he's... Push it down on the pin a little bit so that it lines up a little more with the foam. And then I'll get this wing, trying to get this where I want it also. And then I'll put this tracing paper. Yes, there we go, that's what I want. Put that over the wings, and then I will just pin to my heart's content until I feel like it's secure. And hopefully it is. I've definitely done this before where I've pinned like crazy and then I let it go and everything just like comes out of it. Let's see, go do one right between. Do one right there, and I'll go all the way through to make sure that it sticks to the next layer of foam so that this foam layer does not move, because that would suck to pin all this in place and then have the foam move. Okay. Let's see if we can show what I was doing a little bit. So I had the wings out flat on the foam, and then I pinned this tracing paper over the foam and over the wings, and I just pinned the paper around the wings. So I'm going to do that on the other side, I guess. So let me cut a little extra section of foam again. Again, apologies for the noise, but can't do much about it. I'm going to have to move these legs again a little more. Okay, let me get my foam underneath the wing here. Let's get this wing, I don't know if you can tell, it's pretty somewhat vertical right now, so I'm trying to get this let's get the flat tweezers. Trying to get this over and down like that and keep that staying there. Let me get this other strip. And yeah, right now just for me moving the stuff around, the second wing on this side is already kind of starting to come out, so I need to go back and fix that, but that's not a huge issue. That's a big thing with insect pinning, is you just have to go back and do a lot of fix-ups, I guess. Okay, so I got his little wing in there. Try to get my tweezers. Get in there and position it even with the other one. Okay, so I got the top wing in there, and then I need to get this bottom wing to cooperate and get in there also. This is essentially what I have to do for butterflies, but it's, in my opinion, a lot harder because, at least with wings on things like bees and beetles and stuff like that, they're a little more, I don't want to say leathery, but they are tougher. And the wings on butterflies and moths just rip like none other, at least in my experience. But so I find beetles and things to be more fun to work on because I can, I don't know, mess with them a little more and not have to worry about breaking them as much. Okay, okay, okay. I think I got them where I want them. I think. And again, sometimes it doesn't always work. See if I can show you. So you can see that I just did these two wings here, and while I was doing that, this little bottom wing on the first one I did, it kind of worked its way out. I don't think I put enough pins in there, so I have to go back and adjust that one. Okay, let's see. I have to take out that pin. See if I can lift the paper up and maybe grab the wing with some tweezers and pull it under. Beautiful. Oops. I did snap off a tiny bit of the end of the wing, but that does tend to happen more often than not. Alright, it did work its way out a tiny bit again when I was messing with it, but it is in there. I think I'm gonna leave this guy good for now. I'm gonna try to work maybe on this big boy. This massive man. This bee I didn't really do a whole lot on, so I'm going to unpin him and just move him out of the way, maybe behind here. And then I'll work on this monstrosity of, I don't even know what this is. If this is a bee or one of those like fly type, I don't even know what it is, but it's huge. Try to get a pin through him. Oh, I'm struggling. There we go. Pin is through. I pinned it a little crooked, but that's alright. Okay, this thing has some huge wings. Let me pin sides of the body here so that, oh my god, dude, this thing is massive. I don't even know what this is. I like to pin around the waist, I guess you could say, area, so that now when I try to move the wings, it won't move the whole body. I use the flat one, so hopefully it won't tear. God, these wings are huge. my fingers. Very big wings. I think I might do the same method that I did on this guy and just cut some foam just to spread them out. Again, sorry for the loudness of cutting foam, but this one has also lost quite a few legs. It's got 2 legs on this side and then kind of 1 leg on this side. I'm wondering actually if the legs that I thought were for the first one might have been for this one, because these are some beefy legs that fell off here. So I think these might actually be the legs for this guy, not the previous one. I'm gonna put them back though in my little container, just in the event that I do at some point in time feel like gluing those back on. At least I'll have them. But otherwise, I'm just gonna tuck the rest of these legs underneath, and see if I can't pin these wings forward. Okay, I'm going to further pin this guy down. He's also moving up and down the pin that's through his body. So what I'm going to do is, I have the 2 pins on either side of the waist to kind of hold it in place, but I'm also going to do maybe the same thing kind of like in an X across the back of the body so that it doesn't go up any higher than where the X is. Yeah, hopefully that works. It should. I'm trying to tuck these little leggies under. This thing's got some wild little mouth parts too. I don't even know how to like show that, but it's kind of crazy because like as close as this is now, it's like kind of in a way still not even enough, because insect pinning is just such tiny work that you kind of do need like this insane zoom camera or something. But okay, I don't know if this foam that I cut is wide enough, but we'll see. And see, this is what I mean about tweezers being a good thing, because sometimes your fingers just totally get in the way. I'm trying very hard to just putting the lid back on these other bugs because I don't want them drying out in the time that I'm working on these guys, just so that their stuff doesn't snap while I'm working with them. Sometimes their joints you do have to kind of like crack open a little bit, even if they're hydrated, especially with the big beetles, but there we go, that's what I was looking for. It's got a very fuzzy head. Alright, sir, get that leg out of here. And these wings feel very weird. It feels like, I honestly don't even know how to describe it. They just feel very smooth and glossy, and I feel like I've felt this material before, but I couldn't even tell you what I would compare it to. But they're really pretty in real life. They're very kind of like iridescent. Okay. Let's pin this wing down. Oops. See, it's already moving on me. It just wants to go back to that original position so bad. Okay, I'm just pinning the foam there so that the foam doesn't move. So I can hopefully position this wing because it really just wants to stay back there. I'm like, where are my pins? Oh, they're in here. God. Okay. Okay. So I have my bug, one pin through the middle, and then I have a piece of foam underneath the wing, piece of tracing paper, and then I have pinned around the wing. There are no pins going through the actual wing itself. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side, hopefully. Let's see. Okay. I have a random leg just sitting here that I'm gonna move. Okay. Get the foam underneath. Best that I can. All of these legs are kind of getting in my way. Cool, get that right up next to there. Pin this foam in place, just so it stays where it is. Cool. And then I'm going to move this wing up. Like I did with the other one. Why are you sticking? These are two separate wings, so there's 4 wings total. They're sticking together for some reason. Sometimes the fingers are the best, sometimes they're not. I'm trying to look at this, see if it's kind of even. Maybe do some adjustments to make the wings as even as I possibly can. And start pinning. Need more pins. Yes, this hobby is pretty luckily cheap and easy to get into because the insects you can find for free outside, and this foam is just some fairly cheap foam that I bought at Michael's. And actually I think this stuff came like in a package that I had. Like you get some of those products at, you know, like a computer or something that have like the foam all around it and it's formed to the product. I'm pretty sure this is actually from, something like that. So I didn't even like technically buy this foam. I do have a thicker block of foam like this that I did buy at Michael's, but it's pretty inexpensive. The insect pins I got on Etsy. Again, they were really inexpensive. And then what else do you need? I mean, you need the pins, you need the foam. You can get tracing paper like this, or like wax paper, something like that you can use to pin wings down, which again is pretty inexpensive. Just something that you can see through, because otherwise, you know, if you try to use like aluminum foil or something, like that's not, you can't see through it and you'll probably end up pinning through the wing. And yeah, you just need a little container that you can seal up somehow in a damp paper towel and you can start pinning bugs yourself. It's really fun, to be honest, and I mean, it does get a little frustrating at times because, you know, you'll like break a part off or something and it's just like, get bummed about it, but I'm trying to pin his little antennas forward because they're cute. You know, and you get kind of bummed about like breaking off something, but I mean, worst case, you can, I don't know, try to make something else out of it, or I mean, even if not, like, you still at least learned from it, you know? You kind of, what the limits are for moving certain parts around and how to pin stuff in place. I'm trying to get this little antenna out because it's very cute and I want him. Which I do have a beetle, a pretty big beetle that I had. That's gonna be fine. So here's my mystery insect, massive mystery insect. This is the size of my finger. He's big. And then I have my bumblebee back here and my other little sad legless one, but so that's those for now. I do have another big beetle that was one of my first bugs that I had pinned, and he fell apart. I'm trying to remember why. How he fell apart. I think I had put him in a frame and then the like frame broke or something, or the thing fell, and I don't know. But I have this huge guy here. One of these big buddies here that yeah, he fell apart. One of his little wing pieces came off, and his head fell off. So I think I might try to honestly just glue them back together. I don't know if I'll do that right now or if I'll try to, I might try to do the other insects first and kind of glue him back together at the end, but I've just been, he's been sitting in this little box here for unfortunately quite some time. I think I'm going to do my little scorpion because I'm excited for him. This was kind of the whole reason I wanted to do bug pinning today, was to do this scorpion. Let's get him right there. Okay. So, I wonder if it'll glow if I shine the black light on it. Oh yeah, he glows. He do be glowing. I wonder if I turn down the brightness so you can see it more. I don't know. Anyway. There he is. He glows under black light. He's so cute. He's so little. His little legs are nice and hydrated. Love to see it. Okay, I got a bunch of my pins here. I'm going to pin him through the body up here. That was easy. Cool. So now I have my little scorpion kebab, for lack of better words. Cool. Trying to think about how I want him positioned. So I think I'll have me pin, of course, sides of his body so that I don't have him just spinning around like crazy. Do here. I'll do right there. Okay, he is very well hydrated, so he is really flexible moving around, which is good to see. He's got such tiny little legs though that I gotta try to work with. Let's just extend them all out and see what we're working with. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous coils. think he's got all his legs too, which is always a plus. Just trying to get these out from under his body there. Cool. Got all his legs out. And then I do want his tail to be up and curled, like your typical scorpion. Yeah, he's got a very cute little stinger, which, you know, isn't something I feel like you usually describe as cute, but it is because it's so small. Man, this really tiny stuff is kind of hard to work on after a while. There we go, that's what I want. I'm going to put a pin crossed on top so that it doesn't just fall back. I'm going to put one underneath. Okay. Actually, hold on. That might be a good thing. Okay, so luckily, since this guy's got the little stinger and it's kind of like a little bulb, right? And then it narrows down at the bottom and then you get the tail again. So you have that narrow part between the bulb of the stinger and the start of the tail, so I can kind of put two pins like right next to each other next to that, and hopefully it'll hold the tail where I want it to. So that'll be ideal. So I'll do an X, I think. I'm not sure if I should do the X below or above or both. Nice. I don't know if you can see what I kind of did there, but I have the tail coming up, and then I have the pins in an X, and then the bulb of the stinger is caught right underneath that cross of the X there, so that it can't fall back flat how it wants to. I'm gonna pin the legs in a position that I'd like them. Let's see. How do I want these little legs to be? I mean, I guess just like that, right? Just a little... Just kind of walk it around, right? Grab two pins on that one because they're so tiny. Okay. Extend the leggy. And then I do want the claws to be open if I can. They are super tiny, so I don't know how I'm going to separate them open, but I try my best. Let's see here. Oh, I'm getting it open. Sorry, this is like so tiny you can't even really see what I'm doing with the claws and stuff, but I promise you the right claw here is, she open it a little bit, as much as it can, because it is, again, a very tiny little scorpion, so See, I just knocked one of the pins so the tail came out. Just took it back. There we go. That's the one thing that gets difficult when you start using a lot of pins is you can bump your work and mess up stuff that you just took forever getting just right. Come on, do you not want to open up? I mean, if not, it's okay, I can have one open, one closed. Ah, there we go. I got it, I got it. Oh my god. Everything is so tiny today, and it's not conducive to fat fingers. Good golly. Okay, so I have this side of the scorpion pretty much done. So I'm gonna just extend out the legs on this other side here and just keep going. I don't even know if I'm in focus still. I'm very sorry. Okay, I need more pins, which are right here. Then I have very beat up monarch butterfly to do, and then I have the other butterfly that I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna try to pin that one in a way I've never pinned before. I usually pin my butterflies and stuff like you usually see where they're just flat open, but I'm gonna try to pin him wings up and closed so that you can see the nice underside, because the underside of the wings is really pretty and I kind of want to showcase that. So what am I going to do with all these? I'm not totally sure. I am pinning them in a way where they would go better in a little display of some sort, but yeah, maybe I can get another glass dome or something. Maybe I'll do a giveaway, you know? I'm gonna have to start doing giveaways or something with especially all the mice I'm gonna taxidermy over the course of however long I decide to do this. I live in a small condo. I don't have space for like 20 taxidermied mice, unfortunately. So I might have to just start giving these things out. I'm struggling. These legs are so tiny. Come on, work with me. Of course, and the tail came undone yet again. Shove. There we go. Okay. There's Mr. Scorpion. Yeah. Little black light moment. Cute. We love. Glows green under the black light. Yeah, again, not sure what I'm gonna do with him quite yet, but he is super tiny. Travel size, if you will. Okay, so I've done these guys, and pretty much what happens after this is I put them somewhere that my cats can't get them, and I let them dry like this for, I don't know, a week maybe? Maybe more, just depending on the size of the insect. This little guy I'd probably do for like a couple days or a week or something, and the bigger bumblebees will probably be fine in a week too. I might just play it safe and do it 2 weeks or something, but you can always kind of test and take a pin out and see how flexible things are. If they seem like they're staying in place, then you know you can just take your pins out and they're dry, and all you'll have is the one pin in the middle through the insect, and everything else will be kind of frozen where you pinned it. So then you can put it in the little display, whether it's like a little, you know, scenery thing or You know, if you want to put it in one of those like shadow box display cases or something. I've done a bunch of those. I have one above my desk right now that has like a big grasshopper all pinned out and a bunch of, they're all different green insects, very green and iridescent, and it was really fun. And I have a couple other moths and stuff that I have pinned, but yeah, it's been a while since I've done this. I'm gonna try to move on to the butterfly, and I'm debating on which foam I want to use. I'm gonna try. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm gonna move this off to the side. I'm gonna do another one of the big flat ones, just so the butterfly has space for the wings. I'm gonna have to like usually take back of my tweezers and I push a little like channel into this, carve it out, shove it in there or something, just so the butterfly's body has somewhere to sit and the legs or the wings are flat on the foam. So I'm gonna take out my sad little monarch, because he's pretty beat. I'm gonna see how bad he is. Alright, so we got our monarch here, very rugged and rough. I don't even know if I could put a pin through him. There's a giant hole in his body. And he does not have a head. Cool. Where is this in focus? Right here. There we go. There is no head, sadly. I didn't really look at him too much before I just picked him up and put him in here, but try to open the wings up a little bit, see what we're working with. I don't even know if I don't even know if I could put a pin through the body because it's pretty hollow. And there's a hole through it, so well, we got that step down at least. And then I'm going to spread the wings open, or try to. Man, these are so delicate. I need some more tracing paper. Okay. So yeah, usually I get the tracing paper, put my wing kind of where I want it. And see what I mean? You can just pin down the paper and it keeps the wing where it's supposed to be without putting holes. I guess even more holes than are already in this poor guy. Cool. I like that. I like that where that's at right now. So I'm gonna pin just all around where I have this. Why do I always get to this point and then I don't have any pins out and ready? Even though this butterfly is pretty beat up, it's still like, still very beautiful. So yeah, I've only did 5 pins in that, and it's seeming to hold it fairly well. I'm gonna do another couple just to be sure. Alright, and see if I can't do the same with the other side. This is kind of the hardest part for me with butterflies is, well, one, not like ripping their wings or anything, because again, they're very delicate. But when you pin the wings open, trying to get them to be symmetrical is pretty difficult, at least for me, but oh man. Yeah, this wing is very torn up. It's kind of folded under this section right here, so I'm trying kind of delicately to unfold this bottom section without ripping it. Although it is pretty ripped already. Okay. I did it. And same with this section right here. There we go. Okay. You know, like, this butterfly is really beat up, but also I think it's kind of pretty in a way, because it shows that it hopefully at least lived a long life, you know what I mean? It's kind of sad when you see these pristine butterflies and you're like, they didn't really live very long, I don't think. But I'm sure this guy had a very eventful life. I don't know how long monarchs live, actually. It's a good thing to look up. It's the other difficult thing for me with butterflies and moths is that their wings are covered in little scales, and that's what gives them their color. And so when you start messing around with them too much, you rub the scales off the wings, and it just looks like there's a bunch of dust all over your foam, and it's just butterfly scales, which is, you know, sucks, but try to get my fine tweezers in here and try to unfold that a little bit. There we go, yes. Yeah, I guess noted for next time, if I do more bug pinning, to do more butterflies and moths and bigger wingier insects, because they are much easier to see on the camera rather than my tiny scorpions and bumblebees. Okay, I think I'm okay with this guy for now, mostly just because he is so damaged. I don't really want to touch him any further. I know that the wings aren't like super symmetrical, but they're also pretty beaten up, so it's hard for them to look symmetrical regardless. But okay, I do have my last moth, or I think I think it looks like a butterfly. Yeah, this is definitely a butterfly. There he is. There's my guy. Let's see, I'm trying to get a pin through the body just so I got somewhere to start. This is always so hard. That's like the hardest part, is getting the pin through the body in the beginning. without like crushing or doing anything. Okay, gorgeous. So this is the outside of the wings here. This is like the top, and underneath, I don't know if I can show that very well. Underneath, they are very, very shiny, very iridescent. So I would love to show the undersides of these wings because they're really pretty. And this one, I don't even know if this will be able to show on camera, but he's got the proboscis. Oh yeah, you can see it. The proboscis, or his little tongue, is all curled out, and I think that's really cool to show. And he does have, let's see, we got one, I'm trying to see how many legs he's got. He's got at least 4 legs, 5 legs. He's missing one in the center, and that's okay. I think what I'm gonna try to do is, yeah, I mean, I'd like to have him pinned with his wings up, although I don't know how to do that. Huh. I didn't think about that. How am I gonna pin him with his wings up? Maybe if I just like, if I do this. Oh, look how pretty that is. If I do this, and I do this. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I do another strippy do here, and like tape that. Oh, see, look at, I have scales on my finger, and it's so shiny, and I feel so terrible. Maybe if I like do, if I do that, if I put a strip like around, and I can like tape it to each other or something. Let me do like a long strip off of this. Okay, I got a nice long, very long strip. Put it under, wing up. Put it under, and wing up. Oh my god, this is terrifying. You know what I mean? These tweezers have so much like stuff on them, it's hard to grasp anything with them. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I have tape, which I'm like terrified to put this tape anywhere near this butterfly right now, but I will for science. Okay, all right, we're getting somewhere. Okay. do I just put a pin through the both layers of... I have never done this before. I don't even know if this is the right way to do it, although, I mean, if it works, is it wrong? Well, I did something. Well, now I want to pull him up a little bit to, like, maybe possibly get his legs to look okay, because I realize now that his wings are up, you're going to see his legs, which is fine, but I don't want them to just be, like, crumpled under him. I want him to look like he's sitting on something, or, you know, something. I think I got like one more leg under here. Oh, this is stressful. I don't know where the other leg is under here. There it is. It's so tucked up. Okay. Oh, just kidding. It fell off. Okay. It was a very tiny leg, so I'm trying to figure out how to get these wings to stay forward like I want them to. I don't know. Let me see. It like worked until I started moving it around with the legs and stuff, so let me try to like just get it back to where I had it, and maybe it'll stay. And also just like not wanting to again touch these too much, because I don't want the scales rubbing off an insane amount. Yeah, that's not really tight enough, but it's better than laying it flat. I guess it's still doing kind of what I want it to do. So I'll leave that at that. And then, yeah, I guess last thing, I'm gonna try to glue this big man back together. I'll just put him here for the moment. I don't know how that goes together. Oh. Bugs are weird and have weird internals. But I get to show some cool... Okay, let me put these to the side so I don't disturb them any more than I already have. And let me put him... I don't even know if I need to pin him on anything. Yeah, this guy was one of my first ones I did. It was really interesting because the wings were very different than like a bumblebee or than the butterflies. Because the bees have the 4 separate wings. These guys just have one solid wing, but it goes like this and it like folds up and then goes under. So you had to like take out one section and then unroll another section, and that was pretty interesting. Let me see if I have... I think I'm just gonna go for some regular old Elmer's here and see if that's can be good enough. Yeah. Oops, that's a lot of glue. Okay. It's okay. I'd rather do, I guess, too much than not enough, right? Let me move the glue bottle from in front of the camera so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna put them back on there, I guess. This one was crazy to do because these wing covers, what are they called, like Calyptra or something? This guy was totally hydrated and everything. I had to hydrate him for a little longer than I did, you know, the butterflies or bumblebees, because he's really big and thick and has a lot more to hydrate, but even then I still had to kind of like snap his little pieces open, and it sounded really terrible. My cat is like freaking out of the door right now, so I think I might let him in. What do you want? Come in here. My gosh. I'm losing your mind out there. Jeez. He just comes in and goes straight to the food. I'm like, you ate this morning. You're not starving. Come on, man. Okay. This is Elmer's glue, so it's gonna take a minute to dry, so I probably should put this on something. I should have used different glue. Perhaps. Well, let's see. Maybe get this guy back out. Also, it's very weird that he's somehow kind of hydrated. That's weird. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this guy back together unless I get like super glue or something that dries faster, because I don't think I can hold this for however long he's going to take to dry. I really like him though. He's huge and very hard, and he's got a very shiny shell, and I like his mandibles here. And this was, yeah, again, one of the first like things I worked on. I bought it off of someone in the US that I think they're in Arizona, off of Etsy, and I'm trying to remember like what they do, how they get so many of these beetles, but yeah, they just sent me, I bought like 3 or 5 of them or something, and they just come like all closed up and like wrapped up on a piece of cardboard and stuff, and so I was able to rehydrate them and then get it all opened up and pinned how I wanted it, and it was nice, especially because again with these beetles, like you can definitely be a bit rougher on them than you can with like the butterflies or anything, so it's a little bit easier of a learning curve to work on the big guys than to just start out with the really tiny stuff. And I'd say the same goes for taxidermy. I'm gonna try to put a dot of glue where his other little wing should be. And again, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to like hold this the whole time, but well, we'll see how much he holds, but yeah, I think that's kind of everything I wanted to do today. So I got a very beat up monarch pinned. I have to identify this guy and see what this is, but I got him pinned hopefully vertically so that you can see the underside of his wings. I got my another unidentified either giant carpenter bee or something, and then 2 bumblebees and a scorpion pinned, and I finished touching up my taxidermy mice from a couple weeks ago that are there. So I did a bit, but yeah, I kind of anticipated on ending a little early today, again, because the bugs they go fairly quick. I would like to do this again. I have to kind of collect some more bugs and stuff. I do have some like random wings and things that I don't really know what to do with because they have all like fallen off of these butterflies, or like I have these, I think they're cicada wings, which are really interesting. Like they're just very clear and feels like plastic shrink wrap or something. I don't even know how to describe it, but these are really cool. I don't have the cicada that it came with off of, but I have the wings, and those are really cool, and I want to do something with them. I'm just not sure what. And yeah, I have just other various wing parts that have come off of this butterfly that I need to do something with. I don't know, it'd be cool to make like earrings or something, but who knows. So yeah, I think we're going to end a bit early today. It's going to be a bit of a shorter stream because again, the insect pinning just doesn't take an intense amount of time. And I had only a few insects to pin, so I might have to collect some again over time. I gotta readjust my scorpion yet again. I might have to add another pin like back here so that it stops falling back. There we go. So yeah, I think I might be back next week with probably some more leather working. I've been really getting into doing my big project that I've been working on, but it's also been a minute since I've done the mouse taxidermy, and I still have some mice in there, and I do have a big rat that's in the freezer, so I guess it will kind of just change based on how I'm feeling, like what I'm feeling inspired to do, and B, what I've prepped for. The leather working's easier because I don't really have to prep for anything. I just have to get my tools set out. The taxidermy takes a little more forethought because I have to, a few hours beforehand, get the mice out, or even the night before, get the mice out and dethaw them and then skin them, because I don't skin them on camera. I just work with the cleaned skins and then mount them on camera. So it takes a little more forethought and prep to do the taxidermy, but it is something that I'm still wanting to do. But again, it just kind of it determines on what I'm feeling up to and what I have prepped for next week. So those are kind of the two options. So I do have a Discord that is linked in my profile that you can join, and I will be, I guess, announcing on there if I ever change my schedule when I'm going to be going live, and then I'll be, telling you what I'm going to be doing this next week if you want to tune in or not. But either way, everything will be recorded and put on YouTube, so fear not if you miss anything. It'll all be on there, and I'll have to see how much this video is in focus or not, and see if I want to try to do this again with the camera at this angle, or if I want to just put it back up with the bigger overview and do it that way. But yeah, if you joined, thanks for joining for any amount of time, and I'll be back next week doing something. So bye.